boys and girls. We are going to read our story for today, but we are going to look at some ways, some reading strategies that we can use, some different ways we can read to use some tools so that we can understand better. Today, we are going to continue to talk about visualizing. Good readers will use the words and pictures on a page to visualize what's happening in the story. It means to make pictures in your mind. So let's see how we can do that. As I read the text, the red soil was hot and dry and cracked. I close my eyes and imagine that the sun is shining down on me. It's hot, and everywhere I look, the soil is hard and cracked. I remember that the last time I was in a very hot place, my skin got dry and I felt very thirsty. I didn't like feeling like that. Here I read that a raindrop splashed and the rhino said, "The rain is here." I'm making a picture in my mind of how happy that rhino must be. He was hot for a long time and it was really dry. So I can imagine that he's excited. He has to tell the porcupine, the zebras, and the baboons. I can imagine him running across the ground to go tell the animals that the rain is coming, the rain is coming. Here, the rain stopped, and everywhere long feathery grasses grew from the soil. I can imagine how the animals must feel. I could picture the soil that was dry and cracked is suddenly filled with these long, tall grasses waving in the wind. I could see the flowers. I can see the new trees growing. And I can imagine how pretty it must look now that everything got a good drink of water. So that's how we can visualize. Now, this story is a fantasy story. Remember, in fantasy stories, the events could never ever happen in real life. And one example of this is the animals talking. Here, the porcupine sniffed around. This porcupine is a made-up animal. Even though there's porcupines in real life, this one is made up because she says, "It's time," she whispered. "The rain is coming." So we know porcupines do not talk in real life. So that porcupine there cannot talk in real life, can she? So she is made up. So here the lion is talking about, "Yes, the rain is here," he purrs. Remember, this lion is made up as well because he can't talk in real life either. Are you ready to read our story now? Here is the front cover of our book. It always has the title and the author, and sometimes it has a picture of like a character in the book. And then we flip, and this is our title page.
Rain. Written and illustrated by Manya Stoyik.
So the title page has the title of the book, and it has the name of the author, the person who wrote the book, and the illustrator, the person who drew the pictures. In this case, Manya Stoyik drew both the pictures and wrote the words, so she is the author and the illustrator.
It was hot. Everything was hot and dry. The red soil was hot and dry and cracked.
So on this page, I read that it was hot and dry. Now this is the beginning of the story, so I'm going to add this to my chart I'm making. So here's my graphic organizer, and the first thing that happened is it was hot and dry. So I put that here under first. Now let's go back to our story. We're going to keep reading.
A porcupine sniffed around. "It's time," she whispered. "The rain is coming. I can smell it. I must tell the zebras."
Can you find the sight word she that we've been practicing this week on these pages? It is right here. She whispered. Remember, she is spelled S-H-E.
Lightning flashed. "The rain is coming," said the zebras. Porcupine can smell it. We can see it. We must tell the baboons.
Here I read that there is lightning, and I can see it in the drawing on the page. I can make a picture in my mind of lightning flashing brightly in the sky. This helps me to understand what's happening near the zebras.
Thunder boomed. "The rain is coming," cried the baboons. Porcupine can smell it. The zebras can see it. We can hear it. We must tell the rhino.
So, on the last page, we read that lightning flashed. What happened next?
Thunder boomed.
What boomed in the sky? Thunder did. First came the lightning, next came the thunder.
A raindrop splashed. "The rain is here," said the rhino. Porcupine smelled it. The zebras saw it. The baboons heard it. And I felt it. I must tell the lion.
These little marks right here are called quotation marks, and that tells us someone is saying something. In this case, the rhino said it, but he started here with "the rain is here," and he stopped talking because that's the end of his phrase. Because see, we have this mark here. This is not some said the rhino. It's not something the rhino said. We come down here and we see this mark. That means he's starting to talk again. Porcupine smelled it. The zebras saw it. The baboons heard it. And I felt it. I must tell the lion. And we reach the end quotation mark. That means he stopped talking at that point.
The lion spoke in a deep purr. "Yes, the rain is here. I can smell it. I can see it. I can hear it. I can feel it. And," he sighed, "I can taste it."
So what has happened now? They knew the rain was coming. What is finally here? The rain is finally here. We see a few raindrops in the picture, and the lion has his tongue out, catching a raindrop on his tongue. He says he can taste it. So we know that the rain is there if he can taste it. So we're going to go back to our graphic organizer, and under next, we're going to put the rain came to the land. So it rained. Let's change it to that. That's easier to say, isn't it? It rained. So that goes next. So here we have two of our boxes filled in. First, it was hot. Next, it rained. So let's see what we're going to put in our other two boxes.
It rained, and it rained, and it rained. It rained until every river gushed and gurgled. It rained until every water hole was full.
So on the page before, read that the rain was just starting. Now I read that it rained and it rained. I made a picture in my mind of a strong rainstorm. I see puddles filling up with water. Rain is everywhere. This helps me to understand how the weather in the story changed.
Then the rain stopped, and everywhere long, feathery grasses grew from the soil. Every tree began to sprout fresh, green leaves.
So what happened after it stopped raining? Grasses grew, trees sprouted leaves, didn't they? Let's add this to our organizer. We're going to put right here, grasses grew, trees, not three, trees sprouted leaves, and flowers bloomed, didn't they? Because look back here at this picture. You see the flowers here? So we have first it was hot, next it rained, then grasses grew, trees sprouted leaves, and flowers bloomed. Let's see what we put in our last box.
I can't taste the rain now, purred the lion, but I can enjoy the shade of these big green leaves.
How does the lion feel after the rain stops? He looks pretty happy, doesn't he? That's kind of like a little cat might look when it's happy. It has its eyes closed and looks all relaxed. The lion is smiling. The lion is like a big kitty cat, but they're not always as nice as the little ones, so we can't go near them. But we can see the same happy look on his face that we might see on one of our cats or a friend's cat. So we know he is happy now that the rain has stopped. He's enjoying the shade of the leaves. He can get under there and he can get away from the hot sun.
I can't feel the rain now, said the rhino, but I can lie in the cool, soft, squelchy mud.
I read that the rhino is in the mud. The text says that the mud is cool and soft. I make a picture in my mind of the rhino splashing in the cool mud. I know that it used to be hot, so this helps me to understand that the rain made the rhino happy because now he could get cool by laying in the mud.
We can't hear the rain now, shouted the baboons. But we can eat fresh, juicy fruit from the trees.
So what do the baboons do after the rain stops? They eat fresh, juicy fruit from the trees. That looks like it might be either a peach or an orange. I'm not sure which, but either one, it's nice and juicy.
We can't see the rain now, said the zebras, but we can have a refreshing drink from the water hole.
So here, the first word in this sentence is we, because begins with a capital letter. Remember, sentences always begin with a capital letter. Now let's look down through here. If there's another capital letter, that means the sentence ended and another one began. All of the other ones are lowercase, so this is all one sentence. And then the start right here is a period. That means the word whole is the end of the sentence because it comes right before the period.
I can't smell the rain now, whispered the porcupine, but I know that it will come back again when it's time.
Look Here at this one whispered. Can you whisper, I can't smell the rain now with me? Ready? I can't smell the rain now. You probably couldn't hear me very good through the microphone, could you? Because I was whispering. Whispering is like we're saying something, but we're saying it very, very quiet. Said means we're talking in our normal voice. Let's keep reading.
The sun shone over the plain. It was hot. Everything was drying out.
Can you find the sight word was on this page? Remember, was is spelled W-A-S. Right here's the sight word was, and right here is the sight word was. So those sight words help you to put words together to make sentences, and then you can read.
The red soil was hot and dry. A tiny crack appeared.
What happened here at the end of the story? It's hot and dry again, isn't it? We're going to put that in our chart. Down here under last, I'm going to put it was hot and dry. So let's look at what happened in our story. First, it was hot and dry. Next, it rained. Then, grasses grew, trees sprouted leaves, and flowers bloomed. Last, it was hot and dry. So that's a way to retell our story nice and short and quick using a little chart like this. We're going to do our retelling activity now. Look at this picture. This is at the beginning of our story. What was happening in this picture? The sun is shining high in the sky. The soil is dark and it's cracked and it's dry. It's very hot outside. Here, what is happening? The porcupine sniffs the air and she smells the rain. She knows it's coming. And who does she have to tell? She has to go tell the zebras. What's happening in this picture? Those clouds high in the sky. The rhino is standing there. A raindrop splashes on him, and he knows that Porcupine was right. The rain is there. After the rain came, what happened? Long feathery grasses grew, trees got new leaves on them, the flowers bloomed, everything came alive. There was even a grasshopper in the picture. Everything came alive because it had a lot of rain. What are the baboons doing in this picture? They are enjoying eating the juicy fruit, aren't they? Because since everything got some rain and some water, the trees have leaves on them and the trees produced fruit. So the baboons are enjoying a nice juicy meal. What's going on in this picture? You see the porcupine. What is she doing? She's sniffing the air. She doesn't smell rain anymore, but she knows the rain will come back when it's time for it. So that's an example of how there are different types of weather that repeat itself. Like they have a rainy season here in Africa where these animals are, and they know every year at a certain time it rains. So the porcupine knows the rain will come back when it's time for it. Thank you for doing this video with me today, boys and girls. Have a great day.